And we're back. Fox body again, Coyote powered, True North turbo powered, like 2,500 horsepower is what we're aiming for. We're gonna start today by finishing up the rear radiator because the radiator's gotta go in the back because, you know, there's no room for the radiator in the front. One more line to make and we should be good to go. And if you weren't here for last video, we did a bunch of stuff in the trunk. We added a coolant can to the front of our box here because the radiator is down here and you needed to get lines through the firewall into the coolant can. I just kind of put the bungs in the bottom of the coolant can here and then the lines just join up underneath. They're right up there, you can see that, but we gotta build a line that goes from there to the top of the radiator here, just a short little dash 16 one, and we'll get that knocked out first. As for the formula cart, I've been working on the body. I have a couple versions of it. I've been like clunky learning Fusion 360. I have no formal training. I've just been like, what I wanna do, and then if I can't figure out how to do it, I go on YouTube and find a little tutorial and then kind of adapt it into what I'm doing. So I'm definitely doing a lot of things wrong. But this is a picture of what the body's gonna look like so far. This is version 3, like I said. I am printing out like a test nose cone from version 1 just to see what it looks like. So that'll be updated soon. I'm just gonna take this line that was already originally in the back there. I'm just gonna cut it, insert one of these 90s, and then it'll be good. I like to just put a piece of painter's tape on it and then just cut it with a grinder. It works fine. I've probably done 100 lines like this. I've never had one fail, so it'll be fine. Then you just gotta give it a quick little roidy-toity. Aww. Make sure to hold on to your wrench. I really didn't mean to do that. Like a glove. Now, the water pump, it just kind of floats here. It's actually just held up by this fitting right here. I don't really like that. That's just how it was. So I bought one of these little front splitter struts on Amazon. They're like 10 bucks or whatever. But I'm gonna put that like from here down to the radiator there, just to give it some support up and down. And there you go, just like that. Cool little support strut from the radiator up to the water pump. It's pretty tight. Just to take, even if it just takes the weight of the water pump off it, it's fine. Next on our list, mechanical fuel pump line thing. This is like 1.25 inches, I think. It's a tube that just goes from like the methanol tank to the mechanical pump over here. So from there, it goes up like this, over there. But I don't like how close it is to the exhaust. And they put this little heat shrink on it, but like, there was a ton of room to go, you know, a bit further and then just up and over. So I'm gonna cut this and I'm just gonna reshape it so it's not as close to the exhaust right there. Like there's no reason to have a less than a finger gap between the exhaust and this piece of pipe when there's like this much room over here. There we go. Now we can fit our hand like the whole way through there. That's a lot better. I still gotta weld it up, but that is the general snakiness of that thing. And just for the record, I've never got my wiener stuck in a vise. I don't know about you guys. Ooh, I'm a snake. Next on the agenda, we're gonna need a place to put this ass. Well, maybe not my ass. I might drive it a couple times, but put Colby's ass. He brought over this big fancy race tech seat, and there was some SFI padding on this bar right here, and on the other bar, just because you need it with a normal seat. There was a carbon seat in here to begin with, this little flimsy one right here. That one was in there to begin with. So you needed the SFI padding on the bars because there's no like head restraints. This one, I put it in there to start, and with the SFI padding in there, it didn't fit. I was like, wow, that's a waste of a $5,000 seat. But we ripped the SFI padding out, and now it just barely fits in there, and now I've got to build some brackets to hold this seat in place. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but we're gonna do it. Also, that dash, that's hella big, dude. I like it. Basically what's gonna happen is I'm welding these little pieces right here. This one's just in the trans tunnel. This one's connected to like this beam that, or plate or whatever, that the original seat would bolt through. This one over here is also connected to that plate, and then this one's gonna come off of this bar right here that's connected to, you know, this bar and then the frame rail. But the seat is essentially going to be sitting flat on the floor anyways. It's probably going to be like rubbing on this beam. So all I'm really trying to do is keep it in place and held down, and then the straps from your seat belts are actually going to hold you down into that as well. So a lot beefier than it probably needs to be, but that's just how we're doing it. And then we're just going to build some brackets like these where we weld them to the floor. They just come up into the seat brackets. Be one here, a couple on the other side. This one in the front here is just going to go from this bar to that bracket. And then there's two in the back here that we need to for the backrest as well. Easy. One done anyways. Welding is the hard part. Trying to get the torch down in there to weld stuff. Totally just going to cut this piece of pipe to make some brackets for the seat. Jeez Louise. Can I get it right the first time? I put a bar back there. Oh my God, I think we got it. We might be like a little bit short, but that's like a good gap to fill. Oh my God. I just put a plate across the back of the seat here, and then we're just gonna go off these two uprights right here with some bars to go into that plate. That's just gonna hold the seat from moving like backwards into it. Something like that. Nothing like a handful of Frosted Flakes to say, I'm ready for this. When you really mean I'm not ready for this. We got our battery tray mounted down here. It just had to go behind the seat. It isn't fully bolted in yet, but it's all welded in place. I'm trying to put this carbon seat on this side. One of the biggest issues is there's no harness bar that goes across on this side for whatever reason. That's just the style of cage. So I might have to put a harness bar in here, and then I'm trying to build, you know, something to mount this thing to the floor because it has like literally no mounts. Literally none. There we go. The bottom of seat number 2 is in. I do have to build, I think I'm gonna build a harness bar that goes across like from here over there. As much as I don't want to, it's probably the best way to support the back of this seat. And then underneath, I'll pull the seat out and I'll show you how I mounted this to make it simple. All right, all I did was add some bars here from this frame rail over to just the trans tunnel. I didn't put any plates on this one, but this one's gonna get welded to this bar right here, and then I'm gonna build a plate to build the gap here so that it's supported here, and you know, that's the third point. But the seat actually sits flat on top of this piece right here too. So really all we're doing is taking the harnesses and like forcing you into the main beam right here. So we're actually gonna add a bar right here. I've already got it made. And this is just gonna be the right height so that when we put the seat in place, now we have something that our harnesses can attach to go through these loops, because there's nothing else to attach a seatbelt to, like a shoulder strap isn't really gonna work. And then also somewhere to brace the back half of the seat. So we needed something to bolt like this through right here, because once it's bolted to the floor, there's my pipe. But once this is bolted to the floor, the back half is still relatively flimsy, so you do need somewhere to bolt the back part to. Yeah, I do got to TIG weld everything. It just looks better. Now I'm just gonna mount this flat piece of plate, you know, to the back of the seat. I'm gonna round it a little bit so it contours the seat a little better. But just 3 small like screws on the front side come through this, and then we'll weld this piece with little extensions, whatever, to that bar that we just mounted. So one thing I learned as a fabricator is if you overthink it, sometimes you just like think your way out of actually doing it. Instead of just like, okay, go with your instinct, that's the way you should do it, probably good enough, do it that way, didn't waste any time, moving on to the next thing, finally getting things done, making a video, uploading a video, probably gonna treat myself in bed later.
Upside down welding?
So much room to work on them. It's actually quite cozy though.
You're lying.
No, it is. Because I put this moving blanket down.
Oh, I see.
Like my welds on the bottom side might be better than the welds on the top side. Oh yeah, that was way better than trying to do it from outside the car. Oh no, now I can't get my head in here because there's something.
How was that?
Interesting. probably time to stop procrastinating and get this thing done. So we can get a different car in here, but ultimately so we can like focus on the cart, because I've been putting it off because I'm like, I need to do one task at a time. And it's this one right now. And that's a problem because I need to do this one right now. It's just overwhelming a little bit. And you know, like winter depression sucks. It's finally getting like light outside and you know, almost t-shirt weather, -3 in Canada, Celsius. So that's like, you know, 27 Fahrenheit, something like that. The body has been so overwhelming for me to work on that thing because it seems like such a big task. But I can do some of the mechanical things I need to do on this thing. So get the clutch working right, get the throttle working right, get everything mechanically done that I need to do. And then we can always come back to it. The body, I mean. But right now I'm building, the radiator's only supported like here and here. And on a drag and drive, it's just a lot of vibration. I'm just gonna add a simple plate like this right here, so you can help dampen some of that vibrations. Ultimately, we just don't want this to break on the highway. And for like a piece of, you know, 1 pound piece of metal, you might as well add it in. You know, something just like that. Now it should be sturdy. Cause like, once you fill this radiator full of water, it's pretty heavy. I don't know if you guys know this, but like water is pretty heavy. So those guys running no radiators, cheating, telling you cheating, man. Can't drive your car back to the pit though. Ooh, TIG welder. Just gonna go ahead and weld this little bracket. It's gonna hold our can that goes back here, and then I'm gonna build another bracket that just goes to here. So it'll be held on this side from this bracket, and then down here in the bottom from these brackets. It'll be fine. I think once we get that done and we get the rest of this buttoned up, it's soon be time to fire it up. Where'd I get this dirt from on my face? Probably inside of my welding helmet. Just got a long eyebrow now. All right, we got the underside bracing done on that side, and then you grab that, not going anywhere. Put the tab on this side, perfect. Now we have our little coolant can, methanol burn down tank combo here. The coolant does just overflow into there, so you won't fill that up all the way. And then I got the fuel lines for the firewall, so that's done too. Hello!
Hi. How are you?
Bussin'.
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 Now Colby is like a little bit shorter than me, just like a little bit. So the seat was a good position for me, not for him. I had to make this little tiny extension here for the throttle pedal, and then it's done. I also adjusted this side a little bit because it was like too far up and it was grinding on the cable thing. I'll show you after. So it was like trying to pull the cable, upwards a little bit, and it was just rubbing on the top of this fitting. So I just angled it down a little further, and now it just pulls. It's gonna pull in the right spot. And this throwing a coat of paint on it. So it doesn't rust. I wish I was more flexible and do the thing. Like over my head, that'd be sick. Anyways, we'll fire this up next video. I'll get him to come over here. We'll fire it up. We'll do whatever we need to do to get it fired up. And I'm gonna be working on that. I'm committed. But that's it for today. Peace easy. Get that beat?